Yes, yes, indeed. Hey, hey, indeed. Oh man, I'm out of it. I gotta get some sleep. It's I don't know. Is time speeding up? Is there only like 15 year 2000 hours in the day? All these pictures are from the same day, but it's hard to tell, right? I didn't even put in the right date. Here's some fake truth for you. It's May 14th. May 14th, guys. All right. Gonna try some new techniques here with displaying the fiction. Looks like I got a stream health going of orange. We'll see where that leads. Gonna get back into Game of Thrones because it just draws so much attention. There's so many news articles just written about it, but these are obviously photos of the day, or are they? No, these really are of May 13th. It was a very sort of wispy, sort of leftovers. I don't know. There wasn't a lot going on. Those images from earlier in the day, you could see a lot more going on. But as the day went on, yeah, this was the vibe. Those dissipating types that we've grown so fond of. The ones with people in them. I like flying. It's a fun experience. I remember when I was a kid, how excited I would be to go to the airport. Nothing like it, rising up above everybody, getting that global view. I don't know, thinking about the moon. Trying to get a picture of the moon and just ended up getting 5G'd. That's just how it sort of goes these days. It's a combo pick. Sideways moon plus the 5G. Interrelated or not? You decide. But that really was most of the day. This sort of wispy. You can faintly see some clouds. It's more like smudges. Nothing serious though. Yeah, and sideways moon. I mean, not sideways. I should try to get to the bottom of this one more. It's just maybe a pretty good symbol of the times. We can't even remember how does the moon work? Did we ever know how the moon works? Is it a hologram? Is it plasma? Is it hollow? Hard to say. But at least these days it seems like it comes up, sideways and then sort of arcs around, and then as we get to the end of the day, I guess on the other side there's sort of a mountain blocking my view. There is it's sort of upside down then. I really got to get more into astronomy stuff. It's like you gotta study the mainstream stuff. You gotta get some college textbooks and get a little more detailed basically on what they're trying to get you to see, believe, think. Because then you can, I don't know, because in all that stuff they tell you what's actually going on at the same time. That's what I keep finding out. Like they can't, whether it's conscious or not, they can't help but betray the truth in everything that they do. Maybe it really is just some sort of matrix, like weird confluence of non-conscious collective consciousness where people just, things align up. They just align up. Why am I talking Italian? I gotta work on my accents too. Come on, guys. So, man, anytime something like this happens, it's just pretty important to, perk up a little bit. And anytime there's a big death like this, And you turn on your news feeds and it's just all over the place. I actually was having trouble pulling up any article because everybody was saying I already saw all the articles that I could afford on my free non-paying account here. But if you look at, obviously it's just that there's a lot. And when it gets flooded like this, then that there's maybe she did die. That's not really relevant. It's more just the symbolism that can get pulled out from this kind of stuff. And we've been talking a lot about the power going out. Something crazy happening. And us getting ready for that. And, maybe that's what it is, that they can't help but let it leak out, and there's something crazy about to happen, and right, they must be stressed out. If you actually, like, just picture for a second, like, shit's about to go nuts town, like banana rama, and been sworn to secrecy for whatever reason. Maybe you can save your family and stuff, but wouldn't you be like pretty stressed out? That would be stressful. And I definitely buy into this whole collective consciousness because I've started to abuse the powers. If once you acknowledge something is real, that's when it can start to work to your advantage. So because you can reach out and just like nudge people through the ether. It's possible. It's ultra possible, and I do it all the time these days. I encourage you, try it out. Think about somebody and see if they text you. If they don't, then you got to work on your powers. Sorry. But it's worth practicing. What am I trying to say here, though? Whether this is conscious or not, that's not really the point, I would say. The point is that there's a lot going down about the grid failing, darkness, things changing, right? And do I have to spell it out? Maybe I should just for the record, right? Doris Day, double D's, famous woman. There's a lot of layered in symbols, but the basic one would be that the day is dead. Doris Day, dead. Triple D's, dead. The day is over. There's not going to be daylight, and I'm not sure if that has to do with the grid down specifically, or whether this is really some sort of like hardcore Nibiru sun simulator failing kind of situation, or whether it's like, oh, Doris means gift. That's good to know, right? And gift means poison in German, so think about that for a second. I mean, obviously it seems like a sweet lady. Nothing against her, right? That's not what we're doing here. I feel like a lot of people end up getting used because they, without their knowledge, they end up in a powerful position of cultural influence or, political will or whatever. And you don't have to actually have any contact with this person. You don't have to like work out a scheme to manipulate them. You can manipulate them. You can kill them on a certain day, as dark as that sounds. But if we're really thinking about how obsessed everybody is with numbers that is like running the show, then right? Predictive programming. Is it real? Is it not? Well, the day is dead today. And this article is from today, because California may go dark this summer. This, I think, is a pretty good angle. I didn't really see this one coming. So they blame the whole Woolsey fire on this transformer that was short-circuiting on a very windy, hot day, when we had some serious fire risk. And I think PG&E, the power company, got the shit suit out of them because... yeah, don't do that. Wait, but it was all on purpose. It's directed energy weapons. Wait. So, right, if they sue this company and make them look bad, they don't want to lose their shirts. So now they're saying, well, on high risk days like that, when it really gets windy and it's hot, then we're going to cut power. We're just going to cut it off because that's the only way to keep, Woolsey 2.0 from happening. Yeah, newsflash. It wasn't the directed energy weapons. It was this transformer, and now it's a really good reason for some like dry run darkness phases here in California. I'm worried. I mean, Newsom, right? Our new guy at Newsom, he's worried. We're all worried about it for the elderly. We're worried about it because people's power shut off for a day or two, but potentially a week. So that's right. People really aren't prepared for going a week without power. But right, are they trying to get us like? Are they trying to help us out a little bit here? Like, is this maybe not the year that this all falls apart? This is the year we really, really, really start to get ready for it. And are they going to give us a little leg up and be, give us some fun? Here's week 3 of no power, guys. Did you get your Coleman lamp? And then it's 2 weeks, then it's 4 weeks. For different reasons, probably. You can't, or maybe the wildfires are just going to be raging all the time. But there's only so much, plant material we can burn through. Gotta keep moving along here. I really got to study more about this gematria stuff, but I was hearing a lot about 88 and how that's not a good number to have around these days. And I just thought this was a really weird story. And it's always with these numbers: 5 dead, 10 hospitalized after mid-air collision. How do 2 planes like flying in the middle of fucking nowhere in Alaska crash into each other? Like how? Can you tell me? Like, you really got to be spacing out, but that's not what you do. Or I guess maybe they were just appreciating this beautiful, landscape here, and they just ended up crashing into each other, collided midair under unknown circumstances. It's just, I thought it was a really weird story, right? And those were sort of the first numbers, 10, but they have this weird way of doubling the numbers up here in the. And this is like a quote from the actual air, because they were both owned by the same cruise line, Princess Cruise. And right, that is also super weird because how could, wouldn't they talk to each other if they're operated by the same people? I mean, I would think all planes sort of, don't they talk to each other? But that's the first number stated by them, 88. Am I leading you down a wrong path? Are they just numbers? Maybe. See that movie with Jim Carrey where he goes crazy with the numbers? This is weird. The moon is shrinking and shaking. And it's been doing this the whole time. I don't know. It's just more and more hilarious to me to read these science articles where it's like, oh my God, like I can't believe we're just finding this out now, but scientists compare the process to the way a grape will gradually wrinkle up. Like, how a grape does a thing? It's like that. That's how it goes. It's new research, but right, and then you get a little deeper into it, and you're like, wait a minute, this is just them playing with their algorithms. Like they were just crunching some more numbers. But there definitely is a lot of action and just talk around the moon these days. Everybody seems to really, really, really need to get there. And this article sort of talks about how they want to get back there as soon as possible because they want to do some more research on this specifically. And whether you believe that or not that we went to the moon, there was so many conflicting reports. Getting to the truth is no longer possible. But I heard interesting things saying that, there was, because I did go back and actually watch some of the original moon footage, and they do make these weird comments like, oh, what is that glass down there? What's that weird thing. Oh, and then they're like, hey, yeah, can you pick that up? Like, put it in a bag, because I'm always trying to go at least a little deeper than what these guys are going to show you. Um, and all that stuff is on YouTube. You can go check it out. I mean, not right now because, yeah. What's up, guys? Good to see you. But it's all uploaded. You can go check out the footage. It's really funny to watch them drive around. And they all talk to each other in their like deep southern accents or whatever. Definitely recommend. But yeah, they do talk about the glass that's on the moon, and whether that's a script or not, it's definitely like a breadcrumb that they've left there. That's a reason that we went up there. And so, right, more data here, but that's the thing here. Yeah, Trump ordered 5 years. Let's get there. And this is, right, it's just more things saying like, oh, this is another reason we gotta get up there. We really gotta get up there, guys. We gotta get up there. Because there really just is so much of this like, let's go forward. Let's go into space. Let's get off this planet because we're really screwing it up. I mean, I was just watching the John Oliver thing talking about, wow, we got a Green New Deal. We got it. We got to get it. We got to get that. And this is interesting that, right? I think that's what Virgin Galactic is doing. That's what Bezos is going to end up doing. And apparently NASA too, right? Having these ultra high flying planes that can get us places faster and safer and better. I was just wondering, like, who's going to afford this, and what is the like toll it's going to take on your body going to space and back, like ultra fast? You'll be in Tokyo in like half an hour, but like, how are you going to feel when you get there? You know what I mean? Like, guys look pretty wrecked when they come out of those capsules, but I guess that's more because they were MK Ultra than the actual physical strain, right? Was the other article for them? I just keep seeing a lot of this like ultra apocalyptic news going down in England for some reason. Like, yeah, it's tough times in England, and with the Brexit and all that stuff, like I guess they're having a rough time. But I just keep seeing these like weird articles saying, yeah, fear porn a little bit, but and similar to the stuff that you will find around here on YouTube. And we are definitely worried about the Cascadia subduction zone, and there is weird stuff going on in Yellowstone. It's just, yeah, weird to turn on the normie news feed and just have this coming up like over and over and over again. Like, oh, well, this is rough and it could wreck everything, and you guys better be scared. Be scared, but also feel bad because the climate, guys, it's all our fault. You should feel guilty, and you should feel guilty for all the people that don't feel guilty. It's your fault. Like, just you sitting there, just you watching this, using your computer, like, you are killing baby seals, like, just with every single watch minute, right? It's all your fault. Feel bad. The guilt. Is it swarming around you? Always got to watch out when you get emotional. When it's these guys getting you emotional. That's when you know. Yeah, dude. Plastic straws. It's nuts. I mean, it's just a war of attrition. You gotta boil that frog slowly, like, right? Because you go to drive-thrus now here in LA, and there's like a sign, and it's like straws only available on request, and then you're just doing stuff, and you get up to the lady, and she's like, do you want ketchup? Do you want barbecue sauce? Do you want that? And you're like, yeah, and you want to like get out of the way, and they're like, all right, have a good time later. And then you're like, fuck, I didn't ask for a straw. Like, and now I'm stuck with this drink, and I'm driving, and now I gotta like open the top and, you know what I mean? Like, drink out. It's like way more dangerous that way. But I guess it's worth it to save the baby seals. But it's also Trump's fault. Can we say? I feel like we can say his name if we're like, this is a terrible guy, right? He needs to die. And all of his family also should die. Maybe, I'm inciting violence. That's not what we're supposed to do here, but it's Trump, right? So that's fine. He should die. Can you die, Trump? Yeah, just checking out the stream. Health looks fine. I think we're good to go. Die. Somebody should kill him. So I want to get into Game of Thrones because it's all tied together. It's all the same stuff. It is all the same stuff. So I want to, major shout out here to John Levi. Is it Levy or Levi? That's what I want. That's what I want to know. That's what I want to know.
And then we have this picture, really fascinating. The ruins of the Confederate capital of Richmond, Virginia, 1865. And just absolutely amazing to imagine that some cannonballs created all of this rubble. And here we even have some neatly stacked cannons. And perhaps we know nothing about the cannonball. Maybe this was something else, and they've all been gathered up amongst the ruins here. And just an amazing amount of brick. How much cannon fire would it require to create this much brick?
Yeah, I don't want to play this whole video. You definitely should go check out his channel. He knows what's up. And he's so calming. Like, he's got the chill classical music in the background. You notice, what's happened here, and what we're supposed to believe that cannibals, and this was part of the Civil War, basically, that everything got majorly wrecked in this very specific way. And right, let me see if I can pull that clip really quick. Come on, bro. No, I'm not gonna be able to pull it. But this is basically, it really reminded me of this whole episode of Game of Thrones, as this entire city and everything like burns to the ground and just horrible violent stuff happens, and everything gets like razed to the ground. And what I'm trying to do is play ultra short clips, and it's a little annoying. But right, try not to trigger the content ID, and we can play the game. We can play the game if they want to play. So just a quick symbol here. Lady that we're supposed to hate because she does incest, and incest people should die. That's definitely what needs to happen when you do that. She's also really mean, but right, notice the V. Notice it's always that downwards pointed triangle. But let's check this out and see if we trigger. Because that might be all right, even with the audio and the unfiltered video. It seems like we're gonna be all right with this. So, because I really want to show you guys some of these images to get you in the mood. If you're not watching this show, that's fine. That's fine. But you should know that millions of people are watching this show, and they're blending it with all of that news that they're reading in their mind. It all just goes up in a big blender. And that's what ends up being what you're thinking, Yeah, and I'm looking at this chat, whatever this guy, social man, maybe he's not catching the vibe, I don't want to point fingers, but that's not really the point. I keep saying that. Like, the pointing the fingers is not the point. I don't think this is really like anybody's specific master plan or whatever. I'm more interested in the reality, like trying to get to the bottom of it, and also just trying to trace these symbols, whether they're conscious or not. I think it's interesting that we're flooded with all these images. It's just over and over again. It's every night. Every night I turn on the TV, it's like societal collapse from a different angle, from a different perspective. You know, maybe it's zombies, maybe it's dragons burning everything to the ground. You know, and we could definitely get into that whole all the dragon symbolism. That is not. It's older than anybody, right? It goes all the way back to those really, really early civilizations. I was, what was it? Sam Tripoli has a good, the Tinfoil Hat podcast is pretty good. And, yeah, he was interviewing this guy who's talking about that, how the old world, it really was all about like the serpent versus the eagle. And the eagle was the totalitarian side, and the serpent, you know, Quetzalcoatl, in South America, those were like the good guys basically, and in this land of inversion, like everything just gets flipped on its head. So we think snakes are bad, and the eagle is America and good, and that's, you know, and it's not just, I don't know. I'm not just saying this to like make people mad. I'm just, you know, this is what this guy's theory was, and it seemed like he seemed pretty smart. He seemed like he had some stuff to back it up with, but. Yeah, but that, you know, eagle, that was symbol of Nazi Germany and a bunch of other. It goes way back. Like, think of all of the flags and everything with eagles on them. And I think a lot of that Tartaria mud flood stuff, you know, that John Levi is getting into ties into this Game of Thrones stuff, because, you know, just nothing is plucked out of a hat. Nothing just like appears out of the ether. It's all a reflection, like whether the creator can help it or not, like whether they're doing it maliciously or not. It's got to be a reflection of like the environment that they're in, and, you know, the thoughts that they're having. That's all we can do. You can't create in a vacuum, basically. Like, and so you can twist stuff, you can make stuff go from different angles, but you know, you're still like stirring the same pot, basically. And so, you know, just think for a second, what if there is some long, you know, extremely interesting, probably, and drawn out documented history of what actually happened in this world, and there is a certain elite class that knows what happened, at least to the best of their knowledge. You know, there's no way to know everything, but they obviously covered something up. You know, if you don't believe me, you know, go check out these other much better mud flood channels. John Levi, Static in the Attic. There's a lot of good mud flood info out there, and it all just sort of mountains up to this giant mountain of evidence, you know, proving that something got fudged. Basically, this is not how it went down originally. And right, a lot of this, all this like sort of flat earth, zombies, it all flows in and out of stuff like this, Game of Thrones. You know, that's why yeah, how do we get beyond the breadcrumb following? I was checking out Quantum Conscience, and he had some good stuff about this too, about, you know, don't get lost just following the breadcrumbs, you know, like, oh, here's a it's the Westeros flat earth image, basically, you know, from up to down. And is this South America? Is it some other more previous, you know, and all this stuff ties together. Lord of the Rings, I think it's all sort of vague reflections of either the collective conscious just like calling back from previous lives or something, or them like actually knowing everything and then talking about it, and then sneaking it out here. And, you know, especially if you know something real bad's gonna happen, you can prime people with stuff like that, you know, like in this final battle with, you know, what's his name? There's too many characters in the show, but what's his name finally fights the evil giant monster dude, and, you know, he's just, nobody can beat either of these guys, but the one guy's way bigger, and he, you know, you never see his face the whole show, and he finally gets his, like, helmet knocked off by his brother, and getting the eyes gouge out, you know, that's rough. And think about that imagery, but, you know, hope I didn't cut the whole frame out, but Yeah, he stabs him like right in the forehead. He keeps stabbing him. He stabs him over and over again. And there's like something wrong with this guy. Like, and they don't. I don't know if you're a Game of Thrones person. Maybe they get into it, but like, he's like immortal, right? Like, there's nothing that can kill him. And then, yeah, he has to like dive with him off the cliff here. And the reason I brought up that John Levi clip was this whole episode really just reminded me of that. Like, he's asking what could possibly have caused all this destruction, especially if they're saying they built most of these structures only 20, 30 years before that, which sounds insane. If you've ever built anything like regular, think about building something out of masonry and having it be a giant city and looking at the rubble there. It just, maybe they did, maybe they didn't. Right? That's not the point. The point is that imagery really just lines up with this imagery to me, and maybe something really crazy like this happened back then. There's like some dragons, and it's either there's really dragons or it is like ultra symbolic for the whole, reoccurring disaster that happens over again. The dragon in the sky, Satan knocking the stars from the ceiling or whatever. So yeah, maybe it is just sort of a symbolization of that coming cataclysm. But it really, I also don't know, looking at John Levi's video, what could cause those. It'd have to be some higher technology than cannonballs, basically, to decimate that level of masonry that was built to stand for thousands of years. Just, it's my opinion. And here it is, dragon fire, just decimating. Not just crispifying the people, but decimating the buildings, just knocking them all over, knocking all that masonry right over. And I guess if you did have a powerful enough flame, that would be possible. To knock over a whole building, you need a pretty strong flame. But what was his name? Mud Fossil University, something like that. And he had a thesis that the whole top of Africa is this gigantic dragon, like just absolutely massive, spanning the entire sort of upper region of Africa. Exactly. So I was thinking about this yesterday because, yeah, I have that marker hit at the 33 mark, and maybe that's my thing here, where the thing that is on the title card, that doesn't actually come until after the 33 mark, because there always is a lot to talk about. And I do want to talk about this coming cataclysm because, obviously something's coming, whether it's the grid going down, whether it is some sort of crazy astronomical event that they're, channeling here, whether it is what Jay Dreamers talks about with the us getting sucked up into the sky, or whether it's this plasma event that other people talk about. There's just so many variations on the same theme of like something just really nuts happening, and it basically sparing no prisoners. That's why I grabbed this frame, because there is a whole sort of mini storyline where I know her name, Arya Stark, is trying to like save some of the people, and the dragon is just going nuts and just murdering everybody, and is like, just indiscriminately killing all of the civilians and a bunch of her own soldiers and all that kind of stuff. And here's a beautiful image of a charred child body, baby remains, that's, I guess, like a horse doll, and you see that before. She's like carrying it around, and her mom dies, and then she, Aya tries to save the girl, and she can't. She gets burned up, and this is, I guess, probably going to be a reason. Who cares about the story? They're going to turn on her, but the main point again is always the imagery, just like it is here, where she is like basically done for. She almost dies in this terrible cataclysm because, right, she's the main hero and a big favorite character of a lot of people, and she almost dies like multiple times, getting crushed by buildings, which I guess is going to be part of the thing. This falling ash reminds me of the Upside Down and all this. It's all just sort of linked together because it's all channeling the same idea, consciously or unconsciously. And the white horse comes and saves her, basically, and she rides it out of there. But I don't think like when the grid goes down and people are fighting out in the streets, like there's not going to be a white horse to come get you. Like this was a great sort of story thing and a way to wrap the episode up, because we got to keep this character around. Good character. But yeah, when the grid goes down, they're telling us that it's going down, whether it's for fun as a drill, or whether it's really going down for quite some time remains to be seen. But yeah, I don't want to be fear mongering. I don't want to scare people. I don't want to give in to hate, as it says here in the chat, but I'm trying to report back basically what I'm seeing, what I'm feeling, and I don't want to sugarcoat it. That would be fake truth. Wait. I don't know if I phrased that right. Yeah. Time for me to at least think about getting some sleep. Maybe you guys should too. So we'll see you later. Man, I need like a bumper for at the very end. You know what I mean? Like so there's like a hit, so I'm not left here like sort of dangling at the end of the stream. Like, see you guys later. And I feel like I had a marker. Someplace here. Where is it? I mean, you guys can go. I'll find it eventually. And I'll see you tomorrow. Where's that? Is it here? Later.